and welcome to episode 1 of Pluribus, affectionately known as Plur One Bus. For the sake of convenience, we're pronouncing it with an I. Anyway, this is Pluribus, the one and only podcast, your go to spot for all things related to this series. I'm your host, Mark, joined by my other host, Ellie.
Hello.
Together, we'll share our love, theories, and deep dives
hmm
into the series, along with reviews of each episode as they release on Apple TV Plus. Whether you're listening on Spotify or watching on the Pluribus, the one and only podcast YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in. And hey, I'm here to be happy.
And I'm here to be happy.
You're the same? Consensus. We're all here to be happy. And I know you're here to be happy too.
Today, we're going to be going over topics like who we are and our relevancy to the project, the title itself, and also statements said by both Ray and Vince. And we have some community theories, so stay tuned. Let's not waste any more time and jump right into our introductions.
I am a screenwriter with a degree in marketing communications and a television and film connoisseur. I love storytelling. I am a massive fan of Vince Gilligan's body of work, both as a screenwriter and as the showrunner of revered shows such as you've heard of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is my favorite series of all time. It's not a coincidence that it is among many of Vince's projects because I mean, when he creates something like Better Call Saul, which I like more than Breaking Bad, what really gets to me is his eye for talent, which has a lot to do with Ray Seehorn's performance and the fact that she was wrongfully snubbed for an Emmy.
Don't get
Uh,
me started.
we're going to talk plenty about that in the future.
Yes.
Um, and that is what primarily fuels my excitement for this upcoming series, speaking for myself, and why I want to help share that enthusiasm, making that known by participating in this podcast. So, yeah. What about you, Ellie?
Hi, so I studied performing arts for many, many years, and I have a little bit of experience within the industry itself as a working actor. Though since then, I did pivot my attention to other mediums as I found that the film industry is pretty brutal, especially for neurodivergent people like myself. But I am still very drawn to how kinetic and resonant performance art can be. And I also have a very, very broad insight into Ray's body of work. And, that's how I obviously found out about Pluribus through my endeavor in following and engaging with Ray's career since experiencing and also deeply resonating with her portrayal of Kim Wexler on hit TV show Better Call Saul, which I love as well.
Alrighty. Now that we've shared
hmm
our history, let's talk about the history of the word.
So,
Um,
starting with the basics,
yeah,
what does the word pluribus actually mean?
yeah, that's a very good question. So the word pluribus is Latin, which means more or
hmm
many, which varies depending on the context.
Hmm. And where have we seen this referenced?
From the phrase e pluribus unum, which means
Hmm.
out of many, one. It's on the back of a penny on
Hmm.
the Great Seal of the United States.
hmm
And I don't know, maybe there also, you might have forgotten about a few coins that had that phrase embedded in it as well. But they're out there.
So, why does the phrase matter to us historically?
It matters historically because originally it referenced the idea of, in the context of the United States, the prospect of the 13 colonies coming together to form a single nation. There are many connotations when you say singular, like this. It's all one goal, one ideology. There's no sense of multiculturalism.
Mm.
So philosophically speaking, it's about unity from diversity,
Mm-hmm.
not just people, everyone just coming together, being as one human race. It's a pretty hefty concept to stamp on the back of a coin. And
Yeah.
It's very interesting how that might relate to the show as well.
The word didn't actually reside only in politics or on money, though, right?
No, it's not just about politics and money. Over the years, pluribus has shown up in literature, software, and even in tech. I mean, there's some things in the domains that you can't think about, at least thinking about the word pluribus. I mean, for instance, you know how the AI is becoming prominent now. It's 2025. There's this famous AI that beat human players in poker tournaments a few years back. And also in pop culture, the idea of many becoming one. It's inspired music, poetry, and the title for his upcoming series.
So, what's the common thread, though?
There is something in common between all that I mentioned here, and that is the essence of the word pluribus is adaptability, taking something fragmented and turning it into a cohesive whole.
Okay, so let's connect it back to
Yeah.
Vince Gilligan. So Ray had actually referenced that Vince was playing around with many different monikers for the show. Why do you think he landed on Pluribus as the title?
So if history is any indication, it hints at many layers. It's not just a cool Latin word. It suggests themes like multiplicity, integration, and possibly identity. And knowing Gilligan, I don't think he would just pick a name willy-nilly without weighing all that symbolic weight. I mean, let's go to what I'm sure most of our listeners are familiar with for precedent. Breaking Bad has meaning to that series, and the name Better Call Saul has its meaning. And then we have even the epilogue film in the Breaking Bad universe, El Camino. It's a name of a car, so on the surface it might be like, okay, so is it because this is a placeholder title? No, this is a very significant title because that is the first step for Jesse's journey into freedom from the events of Breaking Bad because of that car. Or it could be a motif, it could be a word that encompasses the story.
You see that a lot with the titles of the episodes as well.
And I'm very curious about the titles for
Yes,
Wombus.
same. Before we dive into the official statements by those integral to the show and what we theorize, what should we actually take away from the word itself?
I think what we should take away from the word pluribus is that I think it is a perfect title for a show that may very well challenge us and confuse us and probably blow our minds a little. So yeah.
So, to get into everything we know prior to release, well, there's honestly not been a whole ton of statements.
No.
But we do have some really interesting ones to go over, especially some of the more
Yes.
recent revelations that we've received in the past few weeks, luckily.
Okay. Go.
I want to start with what we know about the series itself, like thematically, and then we'll move on to the character of Carol. We've gotten bits and pieces here and there, concepts thrown around, like reality and genre bending, human condition, and thinking piece. Those have been some of the most compelling statements so far. It's been said by both Ray and Vince that Pluribus will dither between tone and genre, and Ray has also said that she has never done or seen anything like this before. So that does give me pause about just how grand this project is going to be. Because I mentioned this prior, but I've been following her body of work for a while now, and having seen personally about 95% of her body of work, it's definitely, that statement in and of itself has given me a lot of food for thought. And with it being, a purported psychological sci-fi with a focus on the human condition and its inspirations, most notably being the Twilight Zone, I'm curious if it will resemble something like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Twin Peaks: The Return, Severance, Brazil, and Her, to name a few examples that come to my head. I personally have a penchant for introspective and cerebral works like this, and I think from what we know about Pluribus, it could certainly fulfill this energy.
Like most of his work, Vince Gilligan's works.
Yes, exactly. I love his pieces that are mostly character driven and character introspections, because I think that's where his writing works for me personally. I think it goes without saying as well, like most of his stuff, humor will play a huge role in the story, which is immensely exciting because I find that with heavy thinking pieces like that, you kind of need that delicate balance of humor and tragedy. And as for Carol herself, well, we know she's not going to be anything like Kim, as stated by both Vince and Ray. She's also purported to be like an old-fashioned hero, though I don't think that's going to be presented the way that you assume.
No, no, no.
Um,
Heroism is a pretty broad term. Yeah.
very, very broad. I don't think that she's gonna be like some kind of Marvel superhero or anything like that.
No, definitely not.
I can't see that happening. I think based on what I've read and seen, she's probably gonna be apathetic and unlikable. I can't really think of many characters over the years of her career that have been like that. Her character Chris in Cupid's Bar is pretty unlikable, as is her character Martha in Law and Order SVU, who I really don't want to talk about because she's probably the most unlikable character that Ray's ever played. And if we're going way back, her character in Romeo and Michelle is pretty unlikable as well. Uh, Two of these, though, were played up for humor, but none of these are decidedly apathetic at all, or at least that's not my reading. And though she's played quite a few brash characters, they always read more charming to me.
Understatement of the century.
Yes,
There.
she's very good at being charming. The reason I'm drawn to the idea of Carol being apathetic is pretty much any crumb that we've gotten pertaining to her just kind of points in that direction for me. Except for maybe the statement that her partner is more important to her, everything else seems kind of secondary and unimportant in her life, including her career. She seems a bit annoyed by things, so I'm really excited to meet Carol.
I'm excited to see how Vince. You mentioned, it's not going to be like when Vince is referring to a quote unquote old fashioned heroic archetype.
Mm.
It's not going to be like Spider Man or Superman
Like
or.
James Bond.
Yeah, it's not going to be that kind of
Maybe he
job.
means old fashioned because she uses a landline.
Old fashioned. He writes historical romance novels. I mean,
Yes, true.
revisiting. I mean, that is as old as it can get. But I wonder how, if she is going to be written off as a miserable standout amongst a hive mind of happy people, of
Yeah.
she's going to save the world from happiness, and that doesn't sound. When you look at it from the surface, when anyone reads that logline, that doesn't sound very heroic. I mean, happiness. I
But
mean,
you take into account what I was saying earlier. Does happiness really mean anything if there is no sadness? It doesn't really have any ground. Like, if you're just always happy all the time, it's just a new constant. It's just a new
yeah.
neutral. Like, I think fighting for that balance is really important.
I think for that log line in particular, though, the first impression of introducing the first idea how we're gonna expect this character to be portrayed.
Hmm.
I agree with everything that you're saying. I agree that the idea of preserving happiness for a population placated, content, with whatever oppression is going on, with
A very
being.
real thing.
Yes, many of us can agree, can concede on the notion that being overly happy, overly tolerant does not suit the function of how we ought to be ethical. Because I think what the commentary of the show is going to be about is being miserable or being happy is irrelevant to whether if you want to be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to feel good to enact good. And that says more about the social stigma
Yeah.
that that is being perpetuated.
I get the sense that she wants to help people, but is very frustrated with them not wanting help, which is a very real feeling. And maybe that adds to the apathy there.
Or it means society has a definition of, so what, she's not smiling. This doesn't mean
Hmm.
that she doesn't have what we consider to be human feelings. I mean, could it be it's more of a society interpretation issue? But she's still doing heroic acts. She has a reason that
Hmm.
are tied to her wants.
Yeah.
and the conflict will be her wants, like any good story, great story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the films and shows and scripts I've read, it's that if your wants contradict your needs, and I wonder what does Carol want, and what does she
Mm-hmm.
need, and does she reconcile? What's going to be her journey
I
and
want to know her
internal?
motivations as well. I think it's important to see, maybe not straight away, but I think it would be nice to see what her like trying to understand what her motivations are to um solving whatever issue it is that she's trying to solve.
It's a multi-season show. Season
Mm.
2 has been greenlit, so I don't think we're going to get the answers to the quote unquote hero dilemma
Yes.
in the first season alone. But I am very intrigued.
Mm.
Before we head into the outro, let's squeeze in our listener theory.
Mm-hmm.
Every episode, we bring one of your ideas. Yes, you, those of you listening to the podcast, we are wanting to dig into your insights. And
Mm.
we do this every episode. This week's theory is from Alex, 822828828. Very long name, I know. Which reads, quote, I think the virus that spreads happiness infected everybody besides Carol.
Mm.
I don't think there are any other immune people. So I think she doesn't want to save the world at first, but after realizing she is the only one that can, she tries to
Mm.
do it. It is unknown what obstacles she will face, but I think her troubles will be staying sane, trying to figure out exactly how to save the world, contemplating if it needs to be saved. Quote unquote, happy people interfering are her plans. They put in brackets. I don't think they'll be aggressive. I think the infected could be subtly and smartly interfere with maybe even the government. I also do think that the books will have parallels or foreshadowing to the story.
Mm.
There has to be. And then they finish off, they conclude with they're hoping that this theory isn't too obvious or quote unquote stupid. Okay, first of all, there's no such thing as a stupid theory.
No.
Again, we have little information
Mm-hmm.
to go by, but you know what? This gives me a lot to talk about. Oh, we also included a hot take.
Oh my
Okay,
god. Yeah, okay.
so Carol is straight.
Okay. Uh
So Ellie, what do you make of that? I'm asking you specifically. Yes.
so okay, everyone that knows me knows how outspoken I am about this. Okay? I've been
Okay.
saying this from the get-go.
Mm.
So, a lot of Ray's fans, the fandom, a lot of us are sapphic. um she has
Okay, one
quite
more.
a big lesbian and sapphic fan base, and I am sapphic, so I have been saying from the start I would love to see gay Seehorn. I would love to see because we haven't really, I mean, there have been like kind of scenes and things that she's been in that have like a sapphic energy, but it's very very, there's basically
Subtle.
nothing. Basically
Okay.
nothing. Um I can't speak for her theater work at all because I haven't seen it. Just based off her filmography and her TV history, that's been a very, 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 very minute thing. So it would be nice to see. But also, after dissecting, the trailers, the teaser, sorry, and the things that have been said, like, the word partner is being thrown about, which is a very everybody knows the kind of weight that the term partner holds in the LGBT community.
Mm.
But
Yeah, that's a
also,
vague. I mean, they could have just
yeah,
outright said it, maybe. I don't
but
know.
they could have said, like, husband or boyfriend. But, like, yeah, there's a level of ambiguity there that's like, okay. But then also, in the second teaser that we got, there is a photograph. And me and pretty much all the Sapphic fan base have just been like, oh my god, Carol is gay. Because, listen, it's giving gay energy, okay? It's and even the character herself, I don't know what it is. It's something about the vibe, the aura.
She also writes historical romance
She writes
novels.
romance, and listen, my girl was clearly on AO3 back in the day, and
Hmm.
a lot of queer people do actually write hetero romance. So you never know. Like, I genuinely, I'm 99% sure
Plausible.
that she is in some way queer, and that
What if she is straight? Out of curiosity, how would you?
I would
How would that
be
resonate with you?
it would just be as normal, like, that's just kind of what I expect, like,
Yeah, I
from
figured that too.
media. Jokes aside, it
It
would
doesn't
upset me a
impact the
little bit
character.
because I've been building it up in my head, and it's nice to see representation, especially from one of your favorite actors.
I
Um,
agree.
but, I would just accept it as any other piece of media that usually centers hetero relationships. It wouldn't like bother me on a deep level, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't sad if she
It's
wasn't gay.
it's a very normal. I think it's a very normal instinct to have. You have a head can. It's maybe
Yeah.
it's not even a head canon. You fought this theory through, and it's
Hmm.
very plausible out of many theories. Again, there's no such thing as a this theory X theory is more plausible than Y theory,
Yeah.
but I have to say, in my opinion, those are one of those theories where I'm like I could definitely. And the thing is, I don't think li- like 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 it's representation, yes,
Mhm.
but it's gonna have no bearing on the quality of the storytelling. And I know like
Yeah.
it could be one of those. There are two camps for this.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna call camp A is essentially it is a good thing when you craft your narrative
Mhm.
and then you go into the other representative attributes, things that people can. It's part of your identity.
Mm.
And it's the thing that doesn't necessarily it's not a it shouldn't be a big deal, right? It should just be
Yeah.
casual. However, I sometimes feel like that can be used as a cop out because the reality is art reflects the world, which is comprised of different people,
Yeah.
different
Different
or
lived
sexual
experiences.
orientations,
Yeah.
race, gender, and ethnicities, and so on. You
Yeah.
know, creed. And it would do a disservice if it is just one of those instances where they don't touch on that experience. Because
Mm.
this is present day Albuquerque. If they just say, oh, we're just this could be a heterosexual character or a gay character. And
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't be opposed to it. This wouldn't change the quality of the story because you can do representation and your story can be utterly crap.
Yeah.
But this is a TV show. You have the screen time to flesh out who Carol is and how her identity could inform her decision. And
Yes.
I think it would be a good thing if there wasn't this cop out scenario where it's like, okay, you're just doing it to tick a box. And I know Vince Gilligan doesn't do
Mm.
that. I don't think he ticks
I
boxes. I mean, Gus Fring is implied to be
Yeah.
homosexual in Breaking
Yeah.
Bad and Better Call
It's
Saul.
it's it's more on the subtle side, but I actually don't mind that because that's just real life. But I think it's also going to be interesting if this is the case, if she is actually sapphic, then it's going to be interesting seeing Vince sort of center women and their sexuality as opposed to the stuff that he's done before, which largely centers men. I mean, the women in his stories are wonderfully written, like genuinely,
I mean,
like
yeah, I mean, Kim in Better Call is in the show called Better Call Saul, the name of a guy character.
yeah, and
So I get
she's not ancillary to Jimmy. She is her own person. She is her own character. But I think
yes,
having the actual main character be a woman is something I won't say new to Vince, but
this could have the potential to be very good. Like as Vince Gilligan, this could be one
very
of
unique.
many Vince Gilligan's
Yeah.
greatest successes.
Yeah.
But it can also he is new to this, so there's always a potential where it can be. I don't know. I
Well,
mean, I hope it's
yeah.
good, but it can also. There's always a
It's
chance.
it's collaborative with
Right?
him as well, where there's quite a fair number of women on the team, so I have full faith, even if they make some, let's just say, in if this is what's going to happen, even if they make a few missteps, like I am going to be content enough to know their heart is in the right place, because their heart's been in the right place for pretty much everything I've experienced from them in the past. So I have
Yeah, it's
no
better for him to
real
have
reason
tried
to believe that
than not do it.
it wouldn't be, you know?
Yeah. As we were talking, I
Mm.
this is my first time. I just loaded up this theory, and something that stood out to me in our theory
Mm.
when the listener wrote, "So I think she doesn't want to save the world at first, but after realizing she's the only one that can, she tries to do it."
Mhm.
And it's kind of different as opposed to me thinking she might be doing it for self-preservation,
Mhm.
but saying that she realizes she's in a position to save the world and she's doing it for the world. And that's happening at the same time. She's the miserable character,
Yeah.
and yet she wants to save the world. That was very interesting.
Yeah,
And
there seems to be a dichotomy there as well. Like, if you have like an apathy for everything and yet you want to save the world, like that's quite an interesting dichotomy that they're presenting, if that is the case.
I think it speaks to a broader maybe messaging that
Yeah.
there is this stigma behind depression, or unfortunately in the world we currently inhabit, to sort of dehumanize people who are just who are miserable, who don't smile, who are just,
Mhm.
for whatever reason, they're just,
Especially
you
as
know,
a
they are
woman as well, especially as a woman,
yes.
because I have lived experiences of people coming up to me and telling me that I should be smiling when I'm just existing.
No. You know, I'm not a woman, but I can't even imagine. Like, I think we need to at least make an effort to understand
Yeah.
how hard it is to be in a position where you are being judged
Yeah.
all of the time. And then there are those misconceptions. Even just the idea of questioning, how could this miserable protagonist save the world? She can't accomplish good. Do you have to always feel good in order to accomplish good? Your state of mind is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's, I think, your actions at the end of the day that will speak for itself. And I cannot wait.
I'm very excited.
Before we head out, we've
Mhm.
talked a great deal about happiness and misery.
Mhm.
And I feel like that would be the perfect time to bring in our closing segment,
Mhm.
which we do every episode before the outro. Me and Ellie are going to share our sad and happy moment.
Yeah.
That's just a way so we can just stay grounded before we
Yeah.
sign off. We're not robots, we have actual.
Believe it or not.
Hmm. My sad moment is I haven't been feeling too great. Just scrolling through the news,
Mm.
and just now, just talk. We were talking. We're making references to just the state of the world right now, and that's. I mean, what the hell is even the right word to describe this impending dystopia? But you know what? My happy moment before recording this, I just came back from a Malaysian restaurant, Der Momo, I think it's called.
Hmm.
So good, really exquisite. So that's me, Ellie. How about you?
Well, my happy and sad moments of the week are kind of incongruous with each other because I just finished
Great job.
I just finished the hit TV show The Sopranos. And while for me personally, finishing any show that I feel connected to is quite sad. As a result, though, I have come out of it being able to add another character to the top of my trifecta of complex women in television, where the writing for them blew me away from start to finish. I love Jennifer Melfi, Dr. Melfi. If anybody who's seen that show, they will know how amazing she is. And she's very me core. And actually there's a little bit of overlap between her and Kim Wexler. But yeah, what a show. And actually funnily enough, like it gave me insight and a better understanding and appreciation of the influences that it had both on Breaking Bad, the Breaking Bad universe, and just television as a whole. So yeah, love The Sopranos.
I am utterly envious of you that you get to watch the show through a newbie's lens.
I'm so
Like,
sad.
I've been rewatching The Sopranos
Hmm.
as much as I do like The Wire and Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Oh my god! When you told me before we started recording that you finally got to the end, it made me feel like I was watching at the end of the show for the first time, or depending how you see it, the lack thereof. Anyway,
I wish I could watch it again for the first time because it has been the single best experience watching a TV show my entire life.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that is. I'm sure if David Chase is listening to this podcast, which I know he won't.
Thanks, David Chase.
I'm sure he'll take it. He'll take it. That is. I mean, a show that makes you this happy is. I think a
I'm
show.
beaming with happiness, but I'm also very sad it's finished.
But I mean, it feels like how other people felt when the show was airing live
I
as
can't
well.
even
We
imagine
were going
that.
into it blind. We are now reaching the end of this episode 1 of the Pluribus One and Only podcast. But before you head out, I would like to remind you guys that we are still accepting and will continue to accept your theory submissions. So be sure to go down in the description below and submit your theories that will be featured.
And your hot takes.
Your hot takes, even if they're going to like,
Even if they anger me, that's fine.
yeah, you can rage bait us. But
Yes, please rage bait me. Let us know as well about your happy and sad moments.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and rate this podcast out of 5.
And we will see you next week when we're talking about all of the teasers. So that's going to be interesting.